If you're in charge of growing your B2B SaaS company in 2026, watch this video. My name is Xavier Caffrey. All I've done for the last 4 years is help B2B SaaS companies grow using outbound campaigns, whether that's in the form of cold email campaigns or LinkedIn campaigns and cold calling and running ads. And I'd like to think that based on my last 5 years of experience, I have quite a lot of things to share with you that I think you'll find valuable. The main thesis of this video, as you can see from my screen, is that attention span is your biggest enemy. Not rejection, not competition, not even your offer. Once you understand the playing field, you stop taking silence personally and start engineering for attention. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the actual data, a lot of it, on what your prospects are dealing with every single day. The emails, the interruptions, the decision fatigue, the brain rewiring from social media. And it should come to no surprise the natural friction that you feel right now, because your attention span is also absolutely fried. This should feel like, oh my God, this makes so much sense, right? So just suck it up right now. If you're still here, turn your phone upside down. I don't know, close the curtains like I have. Just actually give me your entire attention on this video, because I think it's going to be really valuable for you. So here's a stat that changed how I think about sales. The average person's attention span on a screen is now 47 seconds. Down from 2.5 minutes in 2004, and there's a pretty big chance that most of you have already fallen off and clicked away from the video. So for the few that are still here, congratulations, I applaud you, because you're built different. So why does this matter? Because then you understand that your prospects aren't rejecting you, they're drowning in noise. And if you're in charge of growing this B2B SaaS company that you're working at or own, then understanding this changes everything about how you approach outbound. Now, as I said, I run essentially a cold email agency. We've sent millions of emails for B2B companies, and we've seen it all, right? And the single biggest shift I've made in how I think about this game is realizing that my competition isn't other salespeople or other agencies. It's everything else fighting for my prospects' attention. So, section 1, the inbox Warzone is what we're calling it. And here's the first thing that you need to understand, is that the average professional receives 121 emails per day. And that's basically one email every 4 minutes during work hours. But what most people don't realize, that's just email. Microsoft, which you'll see I'll reference a couple of times because obviously it's Microsoft, so they have a lot of great data on these things. Their data shows that the real number is closer to 270 digital communications daily, when you add team messages and my least favorite sound in the whole world, Slack pings, and just general notifications. So if you're targeting decision makers in tech or SaaS specifically, they're getting 10 to 20 cold sales emails per day. Not per week, per day. And the thing that you need to also get through your head is that the decision to read or delete happens in under 3 seconds. As I tried to illustrate with this image, I actually drew this myself. So if you want to hire me to draw anything, don't. The subject line scanning takes about 2.7 seconds before they hit delete. That's how small of a window you have. I find that subject lines and even preview lines are the most underrated aspects of your cold email, because that's the thing that determines if they're going to spend 47 seconds reading your email, because that's most people's attention span. Let's keep going with more stats. You're going to see I'm going to drop a lot of stats on this video. 47% of people decide whether to open based on solely on subject line, and 69% mark emails as spam based on, again, subject line alone. So this isn't really about your offer, and it's not even about your copy, even though it sounds or it looks like it should be. This is actually about the fact that your prospect is in constant survival mode before they even see your name. So my quick advice is that you should leave your feelings at the door when you notice your campaigns aren't really getting a lot of replies that you're hoping for, because you're just a drop in the bucket. Let's humble ourselves and really understand that this is the business world. This is you, that little dot right here is you, and then this is them being literally everyone else, and this is also them, and you're just like everyone else, all right? I'm sorry, this is, I know, breaking your ego, it broke mine, but that's the harsh truth, is in the inbox at least, you're not that special, and in order to be special, it takes a lot of work, which we'll talk about a bit later. Okay, just keep watching. Section 2, the interruption epidemic. So again, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Microsoft. So Microsoft mentioned that they found that knowledge workers are interrupted every 2 minutes during core work hours. That also means if you're watching this video, you've probably been already interrupted a couple of times, but I hope you listen to me and you turn your phone around and close the curtains. It counts to 275 interruptions per day. And the stat that really got me is that it takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully return to a task after an interruption. That is absolutely insane. That's why everyone keeps thinking that they're being productive when they're really not. So if your prospect gets interrupted just 5 times while checking email in the morning, that's nearly 2 hours of lost productivity just trying to get back to where they were. Then there are, of course, meetings, the granddaddy of wasting your time. The average employee has 8 meetings per week. VPs and executives have 12 to 17, and then of course CEOs are at a whopping 37 meetings weekly. They spend 72% of their time in meetings, and this is the ICP that most of you watching this video would do just about anything to get them on the meeting. Let's be honest. I mean, who better to show up on a call than a CEO? But like everything in life, there's a trade-off. If you want the big shot CEO or really any C-level exec for that matter, the data shows that the competition for their attention is fierce. And get this, 78% of workers say too many meetings prevent them from completing their actual work. 72% rate their meetings as ineffective. This shouldn't come as a surprise at all for any of you watching this, because any of you watching this video, you probably already worked or currently work at a meeting-first company. Companies who are filled with middle-tier managers that think booking constant check-in meetings and meetings in general is a sign of productivity when it's not. Meetings act as a disguise for productivity and steals the person's attention away from everything, including you. So, when does your prospect have time to thoughtfully consider your cold email? Well, that's the tricky part. And that's why we built a heat map tracker in our client portal, which I will share later, that helps us have an educated guess as to when our ICP is active to try to capitalize on the few minutes that these people have in their day to pay attention to what we have to say. That rhymed, but that was by accident. I'm freestyling. Section 3, the brain rewiring. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because we're not just busy, our brains are being actively rewired for shorter attention spans. The average person checks their phone, I can't believe this is true, I actually can because I'm one of them, 186 to 205 times per day. That's once every 5 minutes while awake. And again, most of you watching this are probably targeting Americans for their business, let's be honest, because America, Uncle Sam. And Americans spend 2 hours and 21 minutes daily on social media. TikTok users specifically spend 95 minutes per day on the app, watching an estimated 170 to 270 videos per session. And if you think your adult ICP isn't using TikTok or scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or whatever it is, then you need to move out ASAP from the rock that you live under. Here's another important stat to run by you. 50% of TikTok users find videos longer than 1 minute stressful. 1 minute. The majority of people using TikTok, if they're not already decision makers, which is shocking to say, they will be future decision makers. So this matters to you today and tomorrow and like the next couple of years. Neuroscience research shows that heavy short form video users score lower in attention, inhibitory control, and working memory. The exact cognitive skills needed to read and process a B2B email or say a Loom video, which is very popular in our industry. So again, you need to understand that your prospects aren't choosing to ignore you. Their brains have literally been trained by the most sophisticated attention capture technology ever, created to expect instant gratification. You're competing with billions of dollars worth of research and borderline geniuses who design algorithms to hijack people's attention span, right? Like that's literally the game. And now on to actually my favorite section of this article, because I think most people, they're not even aware of this, is decision fatigue, okay? So let's add one more layer to this big argument that I'm making, that it's really hard to do this and that your number one enemy is attention. The average adult, makes approximately 35,000 decisions per day. I know it sounds insane. Let's break it down. Let's decide on what time to wake up. Do I snooze or get up? What should I wear? What do I eat for breakfast? Do I drink coffee or tea? Do I check email now or later? Which email to open first? Do I reply now or flag later? Do I accept this meeting or decline? What should I say in the Slack message? Do I send a funny GIF or do I keep it professional? How do I phrase this feedback? Do I tell this guy, please leave me alone? Or do I tell him, yes, send me more information? Do I approve this request or push back? All of this is happening before 9 a.m. Should I brush my teeth or not? Should I floss? Maybe I should floss. Was my doctor right? Is he exaggerating? All of these, they're all stacking up. And it's not even 9. That's if you're waking up before 9. But every single micro choice from which browser tab to click on, whether to respond sounds good, that works, draws from the same mental energy pool that is finite. It's not infinite. And decision quality degrades throughout the day. And this is called decision fatigue, and it's actually measurable. There's a famous study of parole board judges. Early in the morning, they granted favorable rulings 65% of the time. But right before lunch, nearly 0%. Same judges, same types of cases, completely different outcomes based purely on when the decision was made. So your prospects probably open their inbox at 4 p.m. after back-to-back meetings, 200 emails, and 1,000 micro decisions about lunch, scheduling, Slack messages, and whether to push back on that deadline. I find this so fascinating because most people that talk about cold email and business, they disregard people's personal life as if they don't go hand in hand, as if like we're just robots that show up to work. Your decision to decide on what to wear, on if you should break up with your significant other or not, like literally all of these things actually matter. They play a role in this game that we're talking about, which is outbound, right? So when I say all this, like, what do you think happens when you send your carefully crafted cold email? Well, it gets deleted. Not because it's bad, because, and pay close attention, deleting is easier than deciding. Ouch. 85% of business leaders have experienced decision distress in the past year, and 74% say their daily decision volume has increased tenfold in 3 years. I think actually that's pretty conservative. Your prospects aren't rejecting you, they're cognitively depleted. Okay, now let's go to section 5, the reframe. Because at this point, you probably are like, oh my God, this is brutal. I cannot win this game, which fair enough. That's what I thought as well. But here's why this matters for you to understand this, and like why understanding it actually makes you better at this and you can beat the game. First things first, most salespeople take silence personally. They send one email, get no response, and think they're not interested or my offer sucks. That's wrong. The data shows that 60% of prospects say no 4 times before saying yes. And 80% of sales requires 5 or more touches. But, and this is insane, 44% of sales people give up after 1 attempt. That's almost half. 92% quit after 4. The sales are there, but they require persistence, and you actually have to chase after the deals. Like I always tell my team, my team knows this story, is at some point, one of a very pivotal moment in the business where it was either I honestly have to drop all this and get a full-time job or I keep going, is I was following up with a lead for 7 freaking months. And not only did I end up closing the deal, I ended up getting a referral from him like literally the next day. And I closed 2 deals essentially in 1 week. So it looks like I closed 2 deals in 1 week. I was working on it for 7 months, just constantly following up. I did not give up after 4 times. I was part of the 8% that did not quit. So another fun personal story to share is that we recently had a call with a client who thought we were being disrespectful for asking him if he's following up with the leads. But I thought we would be disrespectful if we did not ask, since the data clearly shows that most of you don't do it. So here's the mindset shift. Stop treating silence as a rejection. Start treating it as the natural consequence of a world where attention, not interest, is the scarce resource. Your job isn't to convince, your job is to be there when the timing and attention finally aligns. So now section 6, to the part that you probably are most looking forward to. I want to have the same philosophy I'm trying to convey in this video. Is like I wanted to delay the gratification, you know, so it should be almost like 12 minutes into this video that you're finally getting the how do I do this value. So congratulations to the 5 of you that managed to make it here. I hope it's more than 5. So what breaks through? I'm going to tell you what we found works, and then you decide what you want to do or if you want to hire us to do it. Wink, wink. First is short wins. Messages under 400 characters get 22% higher response rates. Under 200 words, under 8 sentences, your prospect has, again, 47 seconds of attention. Use it wisely. You don't have that much time to convey what you want to say. So if you're really good at explaining things in a really short sentences, this is going to be really good for you. Second, personalization isn't optional. Personalized emails get a 6% higher, or sorry, a 6x higher transaction rates. 63% of your prospects never respond to non-personalized outreach. But I'm not talking about personalization on the lead level. Don't send a message that says, hey, Michael, I know your shoe size is 10.5, and it just so happens that you're 10.5 seconds away from learning how we can help you book 10.5 meetings. Look, some people might reply to this because they have a good sense of humor. Most people don't. So what you want to do is rely on personalization that's on a company level. I say this due to the fact that in order for you to find personalized data on a lead, there are diminishing returns. Like the effort that you're going to put in to find that piece of information isn't going to be that much better than the low effort you have to put in to scrape publicly available company data, which is going to have, honestly, probably a better return on your investment when you zoom out. Because ultimately, most of your emails that you're sending out, they're trying to help the person solve a problem at the company. Right? You're either trying to help them make more money, save time, less headache. Like everything always comes back to the company, the mission, their offer, whoever they target. So you're much better off doing that. And then the cool thing is that you can actually do it at scale. The only time I will go against this advice is if you have a very small total addressable market and you have a really premium offering, then I say disregard everything I said and figure out what's Michael's shoe size. They'll really appreciate it and you'll earn that business. But other than that, stick to company level scraping and personalization. Okay, I actually put together a breakdown on how we do this, like an A to Z guide. A lot of people find it useful. I think you will as well. So if you want, I'm going to link it somewhere in the comments down below and you can check it out. It's for free. You don't need to pay for it. Okay, let's keep going. Third, speed matters. Responding within 5 minutes of a reply makes conversions 9 times more likely. Your prospect had a moment of attention. Please capitalize on it before the next interruption. But if you don't want to do it, another wink, wink, self-promotion here. Our agency can take care of that. We have a system that can automatically reply to the first interested email that someone sends you. It's really cool. You can get it done within 5 minutes. It's helped us book a lot of meetings and close deals. People even call us out, like, how are you replying to us so fast? We're like, it's not us. It's actually our AI or our system, whatever jargon you want to use. Okay, fourth, multi-channel compounds. This is probably the biggest shift that we've done in the last year. Is email is great and scalable, but when I realized how scarce attention is, I couldn't stop thinking that, okay, I need to be everywhere as much as I can in order to have a healthy, sustainable outbound engine, okay? So email plus phone plus LinkedIn delivers 28% higher conversions than email alone. You're not annoying your prospects, you're increasing the odds that one message lands during a window of cognitive ability, or availability, sorry. So let that sink in, because as a cliche as it sounds, or as a guru-ish as it sounds, you will not change, you will not grow if your ability to understand this at a fundamental level doesn't change as well. This is the core that we'll be leaving at one away. Like, if you go on our website, you'll see that it says you're just one cold email away, you're one message away, one call away, one search away. Because I really believe that. That's all it takes. But the problem is you don't know which one's going to be, and you don't know when. So we built a multi-touch outreach campaign that hit all 3 channels in a coordinated sequence. That way, when your prospect finally has a window of attention, whether they're scrolling on LinkedIn, on their phone, checking email between meetings, you're optimizing to being there, okay? And again, if that sounds like something you need, stick around for the call to action at the end of the video, or you can just book a call with us right now so we can talk. And 6, timing matters. All right, so look, if you're new to this, I would recommend you start doing outreach between 9 and 11 a.m. of your lead's time zone, which you can easily find a lot of these databases give you, because you have a higher likelihood of catching prospects before decision fatigue sets in. Remember, we talked about this earlier, the 35,000 number. But if you want a clearer picture on what works, my recommendation is you spread your outreach at different time intervals and then review the data after a couple of months. Because maybe your ICP is in a different time zone, obviously, right? If you have different time zones in your lead list. Maybe they're founders who check email at 6 a.m. before their kids wake up, or maybe they're ops people who clear their inbox after lunch. That's why, a bit of a full circle moment here, I mentioned a heat map that we built in our client portal earlier in the video. So instead of guessing, you can operate based on patterns. So this is what it looks like. This is our heat map. So right now for us, it tells us that, okay, our leads are most active on Wednesdays during 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. I'm actually really surprised that more agencies and more SaaS companies aren't helping you guys track this. I think this data is super powerful, because at the bare minimum, what we can do is we can say, all right, well, the data tells us Wednesdays, for whatever reason, okay, between 12 to 3, people are most active. So what I would recommend, what I would do, is I would say, all right, that time slot is getting booked internally for us to hit the phones. Because hitting the phones is still a manual thing. Like, you need the human to be involved, right? So if I have to pick a time to do this really unscalable solution, which is calling, right, then I'm gonna want to optimize my time. So if I can pick that, which I can, because we can track the time of when the leads are replying, you best believe I'm gonna wanna do that. So that would be my recommendation, or rather my argument as to why it's really valuable to be tracking when leads are engaging with you. Now look, closing statement, congratulations. If you made it here, you're incredible. Your attention span is up there with the gods, you know? Let's do like a quick review though, actually, jokes aside. 91% of your cold emails, they're getting no replies. 76% get deleted without being opened. But 82% of buyers say that they're open to meeting from sellers who reach out proactively. And 71% want to hear from you early in the buying process. The opportunity is there, I promise you guys. The interest is there. What's missing is just the fundamental understanding of what game you're playing. Let me add something here. What will like really liberate you and free you and allow you to grow with cold email is understanding that most people's memory is of a goldfish. What I mean by that is, next time you talk to someone, ask them, what's the last cold email you got? Who was it from and what did they pitch? They will not remember. Promise you, they will not remember. So if you believe that, what we recommend to do, what we would do for you if you work with us, is we'll send an email to John Smith on Monday. We'll do a follow-up on Wednesday. And then maybe Friday, most of the time it's just 2 days. And then we'll take a break for 20 business days and then target them again. We do this because, again, we have a fundamental understanding of the whole goldfish memory that I just told you about. And we also do this because we know attention is really scarce. And we're gonna keep trying until we can hit that small window, and then we can get away with it. That's why I actually think cold email's really, really good when it comes to that, because you start a new thread and they have no idea. Whereas if you think of the optics of doing what I just said on LinkedIn, for example, LinkedIn, you actually burn it. Like LinkedIn, if you see me messaging you and I've sent like 6 messages, you're spamming me, leave me alone. Whereas with cold email, it really is fascinating whenever this happens. We'll see someone booked a meeting with us, and we'll do a quick review, and we'll see, oh my God, we emailed this guy like 8 times, but he has no idea. Like, he thinks this is the first time we've ever contacted him, you know? So understanding this changes the entire way you approach this and how you invest in your outbound, right? So again, your prospects aren't saying no. They're drowning in 270 messages, 275 interruptions, and 35,000 decisions per day, all while their brains have been rewired to expect content measured in seconds, not paragraphs. So again, once you internalize that, you stop feeling rejected, you leave your emotions at the door, and you start engineering for attention, okay? You follow up without guilt, you write shorter, you test video, you show up on multiple channels, and you make more money. You win the game that 92% of salespeople quit before they even start playing. So if you want help building a system that actually accounts for all of this, personalized outreach, multi-channel cadence, speed to lead automation, and custom timing data unique to your audience, like what I showed you in the portal, that's what we do. And if you made it at the end of the video, I really do appreciate it. You have incredible attention span. And if you need help engineering your outbound machine, as they say, then book a meeting with us at oneaway.io or check out any of the case studies that we have for further social proof. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.